President Bush, at long last, has it not dawned on you that the America you have now created includes cold-blooded killers who will kill people to achieve their political objectives? They are those in or formerly in your employ who may yet be charged someday with war crimes.
Cold-blooded killers, I guess. Does that include the U.S. military, MSNBC?
That's exactly who he was referring to.
Well, a good friend of mine the other day said, never respond to people who are littler than you are, smaller than you are. You know, don't give them the time of day. And basically that's what I told O'Reilly last night about that nutbag Syracuse University professor. But I'll tell you where I draw the line. I draw the line with individuals who are clearly calling our troops these types of pejoratives and these outrageous allegations. And I believe MSNBC really needs to bring in a medical team at this point. I believe that they are doing a disservice to him and to all the viewers of that network. I used to work for MSNBC. This pains me to say it. Clearly, certain hosts on MSNBC need help. And the fact that he would spend, what was this, a 15-minute?
15 minutes live.
15 minutes looking into the camera. Mr. Bush, the cold-blooded killers that you've helped create.
Good night and good luck.
Oh, something happened to Keith Olbermann. I don't know what happened to him. I really don't. He didn't used to be this way. When I knew him pretty well back in 1998, or as he says, we knew each other socially. And he wasn't like this. He's really smart. He's a great writer. He can be extremely funny. But something has happened to him. And when you are employed by GE, the big peacock, don't those big old peacock feathers need to cuddle you and really kind of just make you feel like it's going to be okay? You don't have to go off into these rants for ratings. We got a lot of members of the armed forces listening to this show. We have a lot of veterans. And we have a lot of active duty, men and women serving this country proudly in uniform. What should NBC do about this? Clearly, they're encouraging it. They're giving him marquee billing. He's getting all the showcasing he wants on the big news nights. He's sitting next to Tom Brokaw. They dragged him out. So Brokaw's up there, Matthews is up there, Olbermann's up there, and now it's cold-blooded killers.
And Americans like you, sir, to whom freedom is just a brand name, just like Patriot Act is a brand name, or Protect America is a brand name.
He gets that kind of flop sweat thing going, too. Do you notice that? He's starting to look moist at the end of the rant. I mean, air it extra dry. I don't know what you need to take at this point, but I think NBC needs to do something. Keith Olbermann saying cold-blooded killers created by this administration. Now, who could he be talking about? It has to be the troops. These men and women are sweating it out at 100-degree temperatures right now in Iraq, carrying 80 pounds on their back, body armor, and some days not knowing which end is up. They need our support. They don't need this crap from him.
Absolutely, he is talking about the truth,
right?
And he is taking his cue from Jack Murtha, of course,
thank you.
And the Haditha accusation. Very obvious.
Exactly. Thank you, Brian.
Which are falling apart, by the way.
Well, Haditha, we never saw the follow-up on Olbermann on Haditha. What's happened to those prosecutions? Great point. Robert in San Diego, KCBQ, home of Camp Pendleton, Miramar, and all the big guns. Hey, Robert.
I listened to this morning as I'm driving to work. He's appalling to actually say that about us. We go over there to defend Iraq, and they should make him issue an apology or fire him, because we go over to Iraq and fight for our country so he can actually say stuff like that.
You know, it's fine. Make fun of President Bush if that gives you jollies, or Bill O'Reilly, whatever it is you do that gives you some satisfaction. You know, we pity you and feel sorry for you, but don't do it with the troops, and don't even imply it with the troops. And I think any fair hearing of this indicates that, in fact, he was talking about the military presence of the United States of America as engineered by this president, who, of course, people in his employ will be charged with war crimes later on. But who's doing the killing? Who are the cold-blooded killers he's talking about? Or does NBC not require that level of specificity in these types of rants? The people doing the cold-blooded killing against the cold-blooded killers in Iraq are our soldiers. There's no one else fighting the other cold-blooded killers but our soldiers. We're being very clear here. You want to attack President Bush, free country, we're all for political speech, no matter how difficult it can get for conservatives sometimes. Do not use these kinds of words to describe what our troops are trying to do for us. And I have a question. Has Keith Olbermann visited the troops in Afghanistan or Iraq or even here in the United States? Has he? Maybe he has, and I'm just not aware of it. Get ready to hear the big crescendo.
When somebody asks you, sir, about your gallant, noble, self-abnegating sacrifice of your golf game so as to soothe the families of the war dead, this advice, Mr. Bush, shut the hell up. Good night and good luck.
Okay, wait. I have a totally different take on this. This is a comedy routine, right? I mean, this whole thing is...
It's the only thing that can explain this.
He clearly is miffed. Okay, I have another theory. Olbermann is miffed about what? I figured it out. It just light bulb went off in my head. What is he mad about? What has happened in the last week at NBC that he could be upset about? Remember, a good friend of mine once told me that 90% of what is said about others that is bad, negative things, is based in jealousy. That's a pretty good rule of thumb when you think about it. What has happened at NBC over the past week that could have gotten Keith Olbermann just seething inside? Jimmy Fallon gets the nod to take over for Conan O'Brien, and I promise you, Olbermann's agent was all over that because Keith Olbermann fancies himself the great national conversationalist. Because he's the smartest person, not to just be living now, he's the smartest person who ever lived. And the fact that NBC didn't pick him to be Conan's successor has him in an absolute tizzy of seething jealousy. I'm telling you, that's what it is. The golf thing is just a pretext. That's my theory. I'm doing deep psychoanalysis now. Brad, try to put together a spa basket or something. Let's get that over to 30 Rock. Let's do a spa treatment, maybe a seaweed wrap, a neck massage, and some other thing.
Definitely a facial.
Something. Well, let's go to Shelley.
Hi, I want that man's head on a platter, Laura. I want you to tell us how to get his job. I have two sons. One has served 2 tours in Iraq. Don't tell me that his service and his sacrifice for our country's freedom has been for naught and has been as a cold-blooded murder. He is giving service. He's sacrificing. And I want to know what it's going to take to have that man's job. I'd like his head on a platter.
Dan, quickly, in Columbus, Ohio. Hey, Dan.
Hey, as a Navy veteran and a family with a very deep military history, this man needs to be shown the door. We need to get his money together for his plane ticket. We need to relocate him over to Iran and let him eat it. I've eaten the sand. Let him eat the sand. I guarantee you, he has never lifted a finger in his life to do anything to help this country.
Dan, thank you, and God bless you for your service to this country. We're just asking this question to NBC. Are you sure that all of your employees, and specifically your hosts, are okay? Are they all right? Do they need some type of medical intervention that you don't know about?